Hey everyone, it's coffee time with a beginner guitarist, and I'm Richard. And today the coffee mug that I have chosen to drink out of is one that I got from Camp Lejeune. I got this when I was working for a company that sent me down to the hospital at Camp Lejeune to train some nurses there how to play some specialty IVs. I didn't know this until I got down there, that the Marines themselves do not have a medical unit. They rely on the Navy for all their medical stuff. So I was teaching a bunch of naval personnel how to place these specialty IVs on a Marine base. Now the way I got the mug was, I was telling them that I wanted something to commemorate my time down there, and the lieutenant, the LT, overheard what I was saying, and he said, "Dude, you're not getting a mug. I hate to break it to you, but you can't go down to the PX and buy one. You're not military, so you don't have a military ID. They won't sell you anything down there." He saw the defeated look on my face, and the next day when I went in to do another session with some more of his nurses, he had the mug for me. So thank you, LT. It's been a great mug. It means a lot to me. There's a lot of sentimental value in it. So here's to you, LT. Today I'd like to talk about the two guitars that I have. I'm a beginner, of course, so I'm not going to have a wide variety of guitars. Most beginners only start with one. I'm starting off with two, only because when I was about 12 years old, I started to take lessons, and my dad got me this acoustic guitar right here. It's a Yamaha GS 335-2. It's really a nice guitar. It's a good beginner guitar, good acoustic beginner guitar, but it wasn't the right guitar for me at that time. As you see, it's kind of got a bigger body to it. So as a 12-year-old, and a small 12-year-old at that, I could not really get my arm around it too well. I couldn't hold it very well. The gauge strings on it were too big for me. So I had a hard time pressing down to make any sound on it. So I got frustrated. That, and you mix in a guitar teacher that wasn't very good, and I quit. I quit playing. Well, now after my kids are older, my youngest twins are 20 now, I decided I wanted to do something for me after all these years. I mean, I've been a dad for 25 years. My oldest is 25. And always putting the kids first, and this sat in the corner, and I just decided I wanted to do something for me. So I took this out and I started my online classes, which I talked about in another video. I took it in, I had them look at it, got new strings on it, started to play. Sounds great. I love playing it. But I was noticing that a lot of the chords and a lot of the classes, well, the chords are all cowboy chords, plus a few others that I'm not going to play right now, too many of them. There was a lot of more of a rock type of songs that were being done, so I wanted to get an electric. So for Father's Day this past year, I said to my wife and kids, hey, you know what, I would really like to keep going with this guitar thing, but I feel like I can do a lot better if I have an electric guitar. You see, still electric guitars are a lot easier to start off on, especially when I was like 12 and couldn't push down. This wasn't the right one for me. One that would have been more correct for me would have been more like the one that they got me. This is a Squier Bullet Stratocaster, or a Strat, a Bullet Strat, and it is a really nice beginner guitar. It's not really expensive. It comes in a package deal, but this is the one that I got to do my lessons on a little bit more. It's a little bit easier to push down, and when you're a kid, being able to get around a smaller body like this, it's really thin and it's really light, being able to control it, and the strings on it are lighter gauge, so it's easier to push down on. So it's a little bit easier to start off on. At 12, this would have been great. When I first got it though, I did take it right away. I didn't even start playing it first. I took it right away into the local guitar shop. And when I took it into the guitar shop, I said, I want new strings put on, because the strings that were on it that came from the factory are cheap. It's a way to keep the price down for budget guitars. And I wanted him to check what they call the action. The action is how far away the strings are from the fretboard. It makes it so it's easier or harder to push down on the strings and make the music. He checked the action, he checked how straight everything was, and then he checked the intonation. The intonation is how it stays in tune, not only up here by the top of the guitar, but down here by the base of the guitar. Because as you come down and the strings kind of come up a little bit, you can lose your tone down in here, so you're going to sound like you're not. And oh, I'm out of tune. Like you're not in tune down at the bottom compared to up here at the top of the head. So I had him do that before I even started to play on this. Now, why did I choose this guitar, and would I choose either of these two guitars again? Probably, yes I would, but not in the order that I got them. I would have probably taken this one first when I was a young teen, so I could learn and it would make it easier, rather than on the acoustic. Later on in life, I probably would get an acoustic like this, so I would have switched it up. Would I say that this is the guitar for an aspiring guitarist, especially a young one? Not necessarily. I like it because some of my guitar heroes, like Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton, play a Stratocaster. And I did a lot of looking online to see what was out there, what was good, what was bad, and a lot of times they were doing these comparisons of these hundreds and hundreds of dollar guitars compared to these, and they were like, oh no, it's not. I'll tell you what, some of them don't listen to them. This one here does just fine for me as a beginning guitarist. You can hand me a $3,000 guitar, and you can hand then this guitar in the hands of an experienced player. The experienced player is going to sound a heck of a lot better on this guitar than I am on a $3,000 guitar, because I don't have the tools, I don't have the skill yet to make it sound better. So it don't matter if it's $150, $179 guitar or $3,000 guitar. It's my playing ability for the most part that does it. There are some that are really, really cheap and they won't stay in tune, so by the time that you get done playing a couple of chords, it's out of tune, you're having to go back up. Those are like really, really cheap ones that you're going to find, you know, online or such, that are going to be under $100, probably around $80, $89. You can get a few that are halfway decent, but the tuners are going to be crap. The pickups are not going to be that good. That's why I went with one that's a little bit well known. I knew that this would be decent quality. But I was also checking online, you know, seeing all these people playing, and there was a few of them that did a good job of showing these off. There was a gentleman from the UK, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he did an unboxing. And after he got it out and he tuned it up, he plugged it into his amp and he started to play, and it sounded great. The way he can make that guitar sound, it was like yeah, that guitar's got potential, which means I got potential. So that's why I kind of went with this. There's also Anderton's Music that has a website also and a YouTube channel, and they have a lot of different segments on there. They've been doing it for a number of years now, and they did a challenge, or a challenge as they called it. They're from the UK. They got a great sense of humor about it. But they took a budget and they were able to take a very expensive guitar with a cheap amp and compared it to a guitar similar to this with a good amp. And what they came up with was the more inexpensive guitar on the more expensive amp actually sounded better than the opposite way around. So you don't need to have a $1,000 guitar to get started. You don't need a $1,000 guitar to sound good. What you need to do is you need to put in the time and the effort to make yourself sound good on whatever guitar they hand you. And that takes time. That takes lessons. That takes practice. So it's not necessarily the guitars that do it. It's you that need it. Now, again, with this, would I say that this is the guitar for a beginner, especially as a kid? No. What I suggest is that you get one that's kind of like this in the price range of this, but they have all different types of body styles for these guitars. If you look at some of the other makers that are out there, Epiphone makes a Les Paul type of guitar that sounds really good. Yamaha makes one that's very similar to this, and it's an excellent one also. You know, you don't have to go with this body style. And if you're like an Angus Young type of fan, Epiphone has one like that. If you want to become a shredder and you get your inspiration from the rock bands and the metal bands and the speed metal bands, Jackson makes good guitars for that. Ibanez is known for making guitars that are for the quick fingers on them. So take a look around. If you're buying one for somebody else, especially if you're buying one for your kid, take them with you when you go to buy it. If you're talking about giving them a gift for like birthday or Christmas, put in the card, I owe you one guitar. Go with them to do it. That way they see the guitar that's up there and they know what your budget is and they see this guitar and they go, oh, they're going to pick it up and play it. If they get a guitar and it's like, they look at it and they go, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's not what they really wanted. It's not the style that they wanted. It's not the type of guitar that their guitar hero plays. Like I said, I love this. Would I be okay with a Les Paul? Yeah, I like Slash also, and he plays the Les Paul style of guitar. I would be happy with that. So take the kid with you. I mean, if they want to grab one, like they said, Angus Young. There's Epiphone that has one that's like what Angus Young plays. Find a guitar that you or your child or whoever you're getting it for looks at that guitar and goes, yeah, that's my guitar. It's got to, for a lack of a better term, it's got to turn you on. It's got to make you want to play it. It's sitting there and it's out in the open and they look over at it and they want, yeah, that's my guitar. I'm going to play that. Otherwise, it might stay in the case in the corner somewhere collecting dust because it's just, there's no wow factor. There's no inspiration for them to pick it up and want to play. So make sure that you're getting a guitar that is going to be inspiring to the guitarist. Now they do make a little shorter guitars for kids or people who have smaller hands. They make smaller acoustic guitars also. This is, like I said, mine is a Dreadnought, so it's a big body to it. There are ones that have a little bit smaller body, but it has a full neck length on it, so you can still play everything, and it still gives you a good tone. So go there, take a look at what they have, make sure that it fits them, that they're able to fit it, that they look at it and they go, wow. Do you have to get an electric guitar to start? No, I think it's a little bit easier, But if you are looking at a guitar and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I want to learn some bluegrass, or I want to learn country, or I want to take the guitar with me wherever I go, and I don't want to have to worry about an amplifier that I gotta hook it up to. I want to take it, you know, camping, and I want to be out by the, you know, fire, and I want to be able to play the songs and have everybody sing out at the campfire. Then you know what? Go with the acoustic. Put lighter gauge strings on it, so it's easier to push down. Make sure that you take these guitars in, have somebody set them up correctly. Make sure that like I did, you know, make sure that you got good strings on there. Make sure that it is where it's set up so it's not difficult to push down, so the action is good, that the intonation is good. Take it in. It's worth the time, because if you're playing it and it's always out of tune or it doesn't sound right, there's no inspiration for you to keep going. So take a look at what's out there. There's a ton out there in this price range. So take a look. Find something that turns you on, or find something that turns that loved one on that you're buying it for, so that you get inspired. So you will go out there and you'll practice, practice, practice. You'll get better. And later on, if you want to get one that's a little more expensive, you can. For me right now, I know I'm not going to be getting in front of thousands of people to play. I'm not even playing in front of my family because I'm not that good. So I don't need a real expensive guitar. This does me just fine. So get out there, find one, practice, 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 get a good teacher, and I'm going to go have some more coffee. Hope you enjoy your coffee too.